Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell at before you blow up a plane.
Basha K. Ali!
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what, Brittany, to say I dabbled in stand-up is something. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when Ash takes off his shirt.
I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean.
Oh, welcome to the Chrissie Mayr Podcast. We got a special episode for all of y'all tonight. Very spicy topic, very spicy topical topic. Before I bring in my lovely guest, I want to talk about some comedy shows. Guys, next week is Vegas already. This came up so quickly. But if you're going to be in Vegas for the Geeks and Gamers FNT meetup, I will see you there next Wednesday, the 26th, at the Millennium Fandom Bar. I'm really looking forward to it. Let me pull up my schedule here. Boom. Then next Thursday, April 27th, I'm going to be headlining The Space in Vegas. It is close. It's like, I think it's right off the strip. Lila Hart will be opening for me. Keanu Thompson will be on the show as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. Get your tickets if you're coming to the meetup. I better see you at this stand-up show. Then I'm heading to Austin for a couple of appearances, and then I'll be in Dallas doing some appearances at the Blaze, and then I'll be headlining Hyenas Friday, May 5th, Saturday, May 6th. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday with Lila Hart and Keanu Thompson. Going to be an awesome time. Then we got Sandman Comedy Club in Richmond, Virginia, Wednesday, August 9th. Anime Matsuri, August 10th through the 13th in Houston. Plus, I'm headlining Friday, August 11th at the Secret Group. Get your tickets now if you know you're going to be at Anime Matsuri. It's always good to have plans, things to do. You know the thing. Also, by the way, please like and subscribe and share this podcast. I never ask that, but I'm going to get into the habit of asking that now. We're on YouTube. We're on Rumble. We're live on Rumble right now. Very exciting. We're doing it, guys. Yes. This is a very important topic tonight, and I couldn't think of anybody else that I would want to discuss this with than Uber Bimbo, my good friend, YouTuber, triple threat, Brittany Venti. Hello.
Thank you. I'm more than happy to talk about this topic, especially with you, Chrissie.
Oh, so this is pretty crazy because this is I'm going to play this this clip for everybody. This the woman that we're talking about tonight is Asa Akira, one of the most famous porn stars probably ever, probably the most famous Asian porn star for sure. She's I think she's 37 now, but she's a veteran in the industry. I think been doing it 9 or 10 years. And this is a clip that was from a podcast called the DVDASA Podcast. I've read in a few places that this clip is from 2014. I've also read that this clip is from 2012. And this is a clip where Asa is talking to one of the co-hosts' name is David Choe. And she says some very concerning things concerning, I guess, statutory relations, the R word. I don't talk about this subject.
The grape word.
It's grape, yeah. So I'm not sure what to say, but it's crazy to hear these things coming out of somebody's mouth, like not even in a joking way. Like we both stream with a lot of comedians. I'm always around comedians. At no point do they say that this is a comedy podcast, that they're comedians, that they're joking, even that they're kidding. And this was a clip. I guess it's resurfaced, and now I have, begun to see a few adult film stars speaking out about it. This is Regan Lee posted about it. What the actual fuck is wrong with you? This is not acceptable, Asa Akira. And so I'm going to play this clip, and yeah, we will get into it.
First of all, would you even do that?
This 13-year-old?
I think I
He could have
would.
easily passed for
Like,
15.
okay, if I
Oh yeah, a little bit of context for this clip because I was sort of researching this a bit. This is Asa Akira and David Choe are explaining the moment that they invite a young boy to join them in a jacuzzi while at a beach house. This boy that she's talking about is actually a child. That he's 13 years old, and so anyway, that's what they're talking about here.
He could have easily passed for 15.
barely though. He wasn't necessarily like an old looking 13. You look at him and he's definitely a child. He's just like really like he had the perfect tan.
A child
and
doing
this beautiful-
adult.
The perfect tan.
So she was really looking at him, like,
What would you
checking him
consider to
out.
be? I don't know, Venti. Have you ever seen an old looking 13-year-old?
no,
Unless it's a Benjamin Button situation.
especially not a boy.
No.
and
That shouldn't be considered statutory rape, and like it's consensual, and I was like, yeah.
no, that definitely no one would
I don't
consider
think
that
there's-
rape except maybe his mom.
So no one would have a problem.
That's what the word means. Do they not know what consent means and what statutory rape is?
Yeah.
Like you need to have the mental capability to be able to say yes to it because you're not informed in what you're agreeing to, and you can't be because you don't have the emotional maturity or experience to be able to, and nothing's going to make up for that experience. That's why 13-year-olds can't consent.
Right. And a 13-year-old could think they're consenting, could be possibly convinced, manipulated, cajoled, coerced, but their brain is literally not old enough, not developed enough to
Especially with an
properly-
adult
Yeah.
specifically.
I don't think.
And that's only if she's like a total yeah.
I think
Law.
kids shouldn't be fucking at all.
Not at all. It's you have what 17 years, 16, probably realistically 15 years to be an actual kid and not have to think about any of these issues. It's the only time in your life you can never get that time back. It's definitely not good. I think there's no and the more I have friends that do OnlyFans that are in the adult industry, but it's interesting to see the similarities like with Asa, similarly to like Riley Reid and a few others. They themselves were very sexual at a very young age, like maybe 13 or 14.
Yeah,
And,
which I don't think it's a coincidence either for how it ended up. Like, it would make sense if you have trauma that you would reenact it that way. Because usually when people get trauma, like, for example, with predators, they touch other people and then they inflict that trauma. And then some of those kids will grow up to be predators too. So people reenact the trauma they went through, and sometimes it turns into kinks as well. So it kind of makes sense if somebody gets a traumatic sexual experience that they might end up doing some form of prostitution.
Are we tripping right now? Are we being delusional? Is there anyone that has a problem with that? I mean,
No.
I think there's not one person that would think that's abuse and would just think how lucky that kid is.
How lucky
Pretty
that kid
much.
is.
I mean, and we're talking about Asa and this 13-year-old kid.
I would advise Asa not to do that.
So David Choe is the guy sitting to her right, and it seems I'm not sure of the names of these three other guys, but there's one dad in this group, and I think it's this guy in the pink shirt. There's literally only one person out of 5 people here that's saying, "Hey, wait a minute! Like, I don't actually think this is okay." I think a large part of what's going on in this conversation is these guys are all huge fans of her. They're very starstruck, and most interviews I see of Asa, it's that dynamic. You can tell the guy's very nervous, like who knows? Maybe they all masturbated to her like literally before this interview started, and I think that keeps people from maybe calling someone out when they're wrong, or keeps them quiet. Like, oh, I don't want Asa to not like me, so let me just stay quiet.
Yeah, I could see that. Seems awkward though. So I would never.
Yeah, and so you'll see this one guy is the only person that really kind of stands up for the child in the situation.
No, I'm just.
We're not
talking about. We don't want the legal answer. We're just saying, is that a problem for you? If that
We don't want the
Would
legal
you feel
answer.
morally dirty if I went to the other room?
Yeah.
This kid, like, would you
No.
look at me different?
I'd be so.
Okay, not maybe would you look at me different, but like, would you think that I'm doing something wrong?
I
Would you
would
feel
be-
bad
Yes.
for
I
the
would be
kid?
so proud of both of
Yes.
you guys.
Proud of both of you. And the fact that she says, if I effed this kid, like she actually says the word kid. It's very deliberate. Like she's not tiptoeing around this subject. She's so bold in this. I'm shocked. I'm like, you don't know what you sound like. You don't like, you're not even trying to hide what you're saying here. You're not gonna be, it's not like with Eliza Blue where she's like, well, from an anarchist libertarian standpoint in a utopia, if the adults around consent, like, I mean, that's absolutely not the right take either, but she at least kind of explains her why she has that take where she's just like, oh yeah, if I fuck this kid, you know, what would you guys think?
I would think
Ugh.
she's mentally ill. That's what I would think.
I would be sad for the kid because I'd be like, he won, but I'd be sad for you because you're going to the pokey.
Why would I go? Who's gonna tell? No snitching.
Snitching.
I'm snitching.
As a father who has sons in that range, what would you say?
Well, we have the law.
All right.
Yeah, let's put that to the side.
Let's ignore the law for a second.
Let's ignore the law.
You go to prison and you.
What are the laws here? I mean, I think people should be taxed way less, but I feel like of all the laws, I would say we should all get on board with the age of consent law. It's really icky, and I'm sure none of these people, except for the one guy that stood up, have kids.
Yeah, and also it seems like people who will come to the defense of this person, I don't know much about her at all. I just know this clip. And I think that people will probably say, oh, it's just a joke, but like, what's the punchline? Like, it doesn't really seem like a bit. It seems like, oh, haha, like, I'm gonna fuck this child. Like, I don't know, it's creepy.
Ugh.
We're not talking about the law right now. What are you, a like
Snitch?
do-gooder or something?
I'm a snitch.
Are you a snitch? Oh yeah. Would you snitch on us?
It sounds like you would because you're so sure we'd go to jail.
Yeah. What do you never
This
go to jail.
annoys me.
You should go to jail. Oh, you're a snitch. You're a loser. You're a do-gooder for literally protecting the child in this situation.
This is how these people act, and they really do walk around here just out in the open. Like you saw on Twitter when we were announcing the stream, someone was like, wow, you guys are such, like, you get called a prude for being against this now. Like that's where we're at, that we are now prudes.
Yeah,
for
someone said
protecting
we have such high moral standing or something. We should get off our high moral, like, I don't know, that we were, something like that. I'm like, wow, if being against pedophilia is having a high moral standard, yikes. I can't imagine what having a low moral standard would be like.
Yeah,
this is shot very, very poorly. I was like, this is not professionally done. There's no lights. There's very echoey. Like this is not obviously a professional show here.
You guys.
What are you talking about? What are you, the protector of 13-year-olds or something?
What are you, the protector of 13-year-olds or something? Oh, you mean like a parent or somebody who has a niece or a nephew, or just like a human being with a care for kids?
My jaw literally dropped. I didn't hear that part of the video before now. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, I'll replay it. The whole part, the whole coping part where they're calling this guy basically like, oh, you're like a narc.
You're a prude. This is literally, I understand the feeling because like this happens all the time. Every time I speak on any of these issues, like, oh, you're a prude. Like it's insane.
Because you go to prison and you really.
We're not talking about the law right now. What are you, a like do-gooder or something?
I'm a snitch.
Are you a snitch? Oh yeah. Would you snitch on us?
It sounds like you would because you're so sure we'd go to jail.
Yeah. What do you? We would never go to jail.
I would just hurt you guys.
Oh, and they're confident. They're like, and I would get away with it too.
What are you, the protector of 13-year-olds or something?
Ew.
What a nerd.
I think everyone should be the protector.
What a nerd. What a nerd.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Are they on a list or what?
I wonder how much of this is they're such huge fans of this woman, and they're so afraid to go against her. It's a combination, I think, of like maybe they're all fucking degenerates, who knows, but combination of being extremely starstruck, and they don't want her to like them less, so they're afraid to push back, or maybe they're on board. And I think part of it is they are thinking, "Ooh, I wish I was 13." Like they're thinking with their adult 30-something-year-old. They're thinking with their adult brain, "Ooh, I would like Asa to have sex with me." And in this situation, she's talking about having sex with a 13-year-old. I'm gonna just pretend that I am this 13-year-old because that's the only way I can get with her in this conversation. So yeah, I would be like, good for you. And it's like they're like hypothetically jealous of a kid. It's so wild, but I think I can see how they're all making the leap for this to be okay. Then again, they could all just be disgusting pedo sympathizers.
It could be that they are just cowards, because if you aren't going to speak up about this, then like where's your backbone then? At what point, if you don't stand up for children and protect their innocence, then what do you care about? What do you care about protecting? What kind of person are you?
Yeah, this is an article where it's called it's from the adultindustry.news. They have the clip here too. This is I'm not trying to scroll up too much because they have some naughty images here, but this came out April 18th, 2 days ago. Why is nobody calling out Asa Akira for child abuse? And they're finally talking about
part is, like, she's kind of right though, in the sense that like nobody's gonna care, because like clearly like a woman is getting away with it way more than a guy would in this scenario.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring hello Alex Stein. We need a man.
Hi, give me 1 second. I have to go put the cream in my soup I'm cooking. Give me 1 second.
Venti's got to
Brittany.
Put her cream in. What an opportune time. Hi Alex. I'm just gonna let's see. Oh yeah, I'm gonna finish reading this when Venti gets back. Did you hear this clip at all? What are your thoughts?
I was listening
so far?
I was listening a little bit. I mean, and this is probably not the politically correct answer, but it's obvious that there is some sort of weird double standard when it's the teacher sleeping with a student, and that actually happens a lot, And I see the women get caught for it, but it still has less of a stigma. Like, even their and I don't know how strict their punishment should be, but I'm just saying traditionally women get punished way less than like a man predator. I mean, is that right? Is that fair? I'm not really standing up for. I think women should obviously be, be punished for it, but I think traditionally they get punished a lot less harder, even when they do get convicted. It
is a double standard. People don't see women as predators. It's like I feel like every month we're seeing a news story where like someone's middle school or high school teacher is like banging one of their students, and it's like we're around a lot of comedians, and it's like a common joke for a guy to be like, "Oh, lucky kid," but that's coming from their adult brain, like wishing that they could be with that girl.
Yeah, but Chrissy, and then you got to pull up Bobby Lee and his story. Did you hear his things going viral? How he made that story about sleeping with the Tijuana underage girl, that didn't actually happen.
Gosh, how did it go? I was just talking about this like a couple weeks ago.
It's kind of like how like it's supposedly, and I'm gonna butcher it. And Bobby Lee is very funny and talented, obviously. But his like dialogue, or his, I guess, excuse is that he was kind of like being extra, dramatic with this story because he wasn't selling tickets at Caroline's at the time, and he was going on Opie and Anthony on Anthony's show, and at the time that was like the most controversial show where you wanted to be edgy, and like it was like just a really hard room. And he said this, I'm repeating it. I spent like 2 hours watching all this Bobby Lee drama about it. And basically, he said that he just, was over embellished and kind of mixed two stories that were together. They were more like comedy bits, is how he described it. And that as comedians make up stuff, I make up my wife and her boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? You make up stuff. It's fake, and then you kind of keep the story going, or you like keep parts of real story and then add parts. So I don't know. Did he really do it? I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's three sides to every story: his side, the prostitute side, and the truth. It's kind of weird. Like he said it jokingly, it wasn't that big a deal. So I don't know. It's weird how like the social stigma surrounding it.
Yeah. I'm gonna read. Okay, so here's Anna Fox. Just 2 days ago, the amount of trash we cover up in this industry is astounding. We're sitting here wondering why people are always attacking this industry. I'm not ready for the backlash that comes with outing America's sweetheart, but there's no way I'm the only person who saw those clips. And they're talking about this Asa clip here, and this is from Avery Jane Nope. I'm
You know what
sure
it is?
What is it?
It's also not just the fact that she's a woman too. It's the fact that, kind of piggybacking off of what you said earlier, it's not only them being starstruck, but the people who see this after the fact. I think the reason they're not speaking up is because I noticed a pattern in this industry where people have like, it's like everyone's pointing a gun at each other's head. So if somebody does something, then the whole line of bullets goes off. So I think it's something to do with like alliances.
Oh, like it's a chain reaction. Like, ooh, you outed me for this or called me out on this. Well, I have dirt on you.
Yeah.
So everything comes out. And that's how Hollywood works. I mean, that's how our politicians operate.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like I'm making this up. This has happened before. Like Chris Walker, for example, when he started tweeting about Elijah cheating on his wife, allegedly, right? It's like Elijah fucked with him. And then he was like, oh, well, here's this blackmail that I know about. And then that's how it got out in the open, allegedly. But it does happen. That's why you'll see like these random fights sometimes too, because people have dirt on each other. And that's what kind of keeps them both safe, is by neither one of those people doing that and setting off the trigger.
In the case of Asa here, like she is huge. She's extremely popular, successful, super famous. And I'm sure a lot of people are hesitant to like, oh, if I chime in on this, I'm officially, out of her good graces, or I lose my chance to ever work with her, to ever connect or network with her. Like a lot of people, I think, are afraid to ruin a possible relationship.
Yeah, but Chrissy, you know this. You talk to these, adult film stars. They're all a mess. They're all like you know what I'm saying? I mean, let's just be real. Let's just call a spade a spade. I mean, OnlyFans models are insane, but like to be an actual porn star, you basically start by like submitting yourself at like 18 or whenever you become barely legal. You get like passed around to like figure out the business. Like it's just an evil, dark place, And so like for her to say that like she probably slept with a kid, that's like probably not even the darkest thing she's done when you consider that like she's probably had done gangbangs and humiliated and spit
the
on.
Comfort with which she talks about this is very icky, because it's like,
to her this isn't even the most degenerate thing that she's done, probably.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So there's Avery Jean here saying, nope, I'm pretty sure many people saw them and know the situation, but everyone would be too scared to speak up or out of due to fear of backlash, because we work in an industry where people who speak out about injustice face more backlash from their peers than the people perpetuating, I guess, the abuse or whatever.
Yeah.
And some people, I know Mary Moody, I want to know who to avoid. Me too. So there's so this is some of the dialogue. So we have this great house with this great jacuzzi where we're sitting from, and we get a great view of these giant waves. Choe says he's 13 years old. He's psyched because he gets free Pepsis. His parents aren't here. Then Asa Akira sickeningly states that she would have raped the boy. This is a 13-year-old.
Oh, so she didn't do this. So she made a joke about doing this.
She's talking about that she would. This 13-year-old, I think I would, she said. He wasn't necessarily an old-looking 13-year-old. You look at him, and he's definitely a child. The group then move on to discuss whether the act would be considered statutory rape. That shouldn't be considered statutory rape. And, like, it's consensual, Choe says. Is there anyone that has a problem with that? There's not one person that would think that's abuse and would just think how lucky that kid is. Like, this is so crazy. Like, there's not one person that would have a problem with this. It's like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah, but he's saying that to be edgy. I mean, he probably does mean that. He probably is sick, but that's why he's saying that, to be ultra edgy. That's just... I
guess. Yeah, a lot of this is like these interviews with her. The interviewer is trying to impress.
So, Chrissy, as a stand-up comedian, can you explain to me what the punchline is here? Because, like, if it's satire, for example,
this isn't a comedy show. These aren't comedians. I don't think this was intended.
But they're trying to like one up or be grosser than the next one. I mean, that's no
They're trying
excuse.
to out cool each other, and this is not
and
something to be cool about.
But that's the whole Hollywood lifestyle, is that they all want to suck from the blood of the young. And that sounds like a joke, but that's where like these theories of adrenochrome and stuff come from. It's like literally like people like want to take like young people's essence. And so for them to like a joke about like, you know, a kid, think how many kids get sex trafficked we don't even know about. So this is just, I don't know. It's like they just think it's a funny joke. Do you remember there was an era not that long ago, the baby rape joke or baby grape jokes? Do you remember people used to make those jokes? Do you remember that era? Nobody remembers that era.
I mean,
they would
like,
make like disgusting jokes.
I just feel
There's like famous to comedians now. Like I don't even quote me, but they'll like go back and look at their Twitter and they made like those, you know, disgusting jokes. You know, like, you know, dead baby jokes.
But they're jokes, yeah. Even they're like lame.
Yeah.
It's like what's that long joke? The what's it called? The aristocrats. Yeah. Not only is this kind of behavior not acceptable, but it's nothing short of disgusting, and even worse, she's gone on to be the face of Pornhub, one of the most popular adult sites in the world. Yes, she's also a Mind Geek ambassador, and Mind Geek owns Pornhub. Here she is wearing the swag.
Be careful scrolling. Do you know the
I scrolled to this already.
Yeah.
This was Regan Lee again calling out a tweet from Asa's from November 20th, 2011. Asa tweeted, "I wonder if Justin Bieber and Jaden Smith have DP'd anyone together." And then Regan Lee is saying, "Justin was 17 and Jaden was 13 when you tweeted this about children." And I've read in other articles that she just, you know, was obsessed with Justin Bieber, had a huge crush. And this poor kid, Justin Bieber, was so used up by Hollywood, very much, I think, passed around. I think
like that
really,
clip of him getting kissed by, I think it was Pink, where she's like all over him before he goes on. Kitty.
Yeah, and everyone's just so casual about it, and like this poor kid, I just feel like he's very damaged by Hollywood. Okay, that's that article. Wow, I scrolled it without.
I don't really get what their bit is though, like, because if it were a bit about like, oh, we're gonna make satire about predators, they wouldn't have done it in the tone that they did it. They were like actually like, oh, you would snitch. Like it wasn't like, oh, you would snitch on us. What are you, some kind of hero? It wasn't like that where it's like you can tell in the tone or like you get what the point is. It's just kind of like, what's going on here? They like thought that basically they sucked dick and thought it was ironic. Like you can't suck dick ironically.
I just hate that, like, I understand you're starstruck, you want to seem cool, but like, how come there's nothing in your brain that goes off like, yeah, not on this? Like, how come there's no hard stop when it comes to kids? And I guess it's not shocking because now we have the UN coming out and saying, you know, we need to just like throw all age of consent laws just out the window.
And you know what's interesting about that? The like change in their demographic. I wonder if that has something to do with it. Because over the past like 10 years, their demographics have been changing.
Yeah, porn is just a constant like one-upping. Like it does seem like those that are very addicted, it's like, oh, well, you gotta find something more and more taboo and kind of wrong and degenerate to have the same effect. It's definitely concerning. Dallaire, Brittany can't use a knife or sharpen it. It hurts to watch and live. Also, hi ladies, Chrissy, you funny AF. Thank you, Dallaire.
I tried honing it on stream. I never was taught. Like, you guys have to keep in mind I was orphaned at 16. I've had to either watch other people do things just as I go or like YouTube them. And this is what it said to do on YouTube. It said to hold it at a 45-degree angle and then go down with it on both sides. And usually it does a decent job with honing it, that I haven't had to sharpen it like that yet, but I don't have a whetstone.
Don't apologize for your knife skills. Like these people they're just being critical. JS Pena, late in grooming. Oh my God. Alex Stein. Hey ladies. Hi Alex. Now you're here. Send me the link. And we did. This is interesting. This is from Michael Gavinelli, one of Compound Media's super fans. He loves porn stars. He goes to all the events. He goes to many strip clubs. He pays to have many photos taken with adult film stars. So he's a huge fan of that whole world.
That sounds like a simp.
Hey, Chrissy. Yeah, well, you should come back on Sunday. Hey, Chrissy, why chat about this? It's nonsense. Is Brittany an expert about sexualized children? I saw my first pair of breasts when I was 4 on Playboy TV. First of all,
Well,
why
that
were you
explains
4?
everything.
Why were you 4 watching Playboy TV, Michael?
That explains everything.
Yeah, that's
Brittany,
not good.
Are you an expert on sexualized children?
Comment not necessary.
Ugh. Just because you saw some kind of porn when you were 4 doesn't mean that that is okay or what's best.
Yeah, if you watch porn when you're 4 and when you're 4 years old, if you watch porn, you just end up being the world's mega simp and being an addict and having no fulfilling relationships. So there you go.
I wonder if there is. I would love to talk to a psychologist that because there are, and you'll hear a lot of porn stars say this, they'll be like, I genuinely love porn. I'm genuinely a very sexual person. I love it. I'm an exhibitionist. I'm very sexual. I'm very horny, blah, blah. Like Asa says this herself in interviews. And I wonder, it's like, what is the correlation between that and a very early or maybe too early of a sexual experience? It's like, it's in the way that when kids get abused, sometimes they, like by someone of the same sex, like they will end up becoming gay later on. I wonder if their mind is making some kind of correction, like, oh, well, I don't want to acknowledge the fact that I was molested or raped, so I'm going to be gay to make this all seem okay.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people who are gay, quite a lot of them had some experiences that happened to them. If you actually ask, it's actually not that uncommon. I can't give you a source out of my ass. I'm just speaking from my interactions with.
That's what Milo got canceled for, is saying that is common for older men to.
It doesn't mean it's impossible to be born gay. Like, I can't prove that it's impossible, but I can say there definitely have been cases where people had a trauma happen to them and then it turns into some sort of kink or fetish, or sometimes in the case of that, like porn stars, prostitution, things like that.
Yeah, so it's like, how do you know? Are you actually a very sexual person, or did something happen to you, or did you see something kind of on the young side and now your psyche has just made it okay?
Well, there's the famous episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where like he knows the kid's gay and he gets him a sewing machine, and I'm just saying, because the kid's like gay, so effeminate from a young age. But there's people that are effeminate that are straight, so I don't know. I mean, I do think some people are born gay for whatever reason. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I had a cousin where he was 4 years older than me, and I grew up with him since I was younger. He was kind of like a brother to me, and his parents died. So my grandma's son and his mom died. And so she raised him. So we were hanging out together a lot whenever like my mom would drop me off. And he was gay since I can remember, like literally since forever. And everyone was like, is he gay? Is he gay? And like, he was super flamboyant, walk around his tippy toes, like flipping his hair. Like, he didn't have any hair. He had it shaved, but he would like pretend like he's Beyonce. And like throughout our entire childhood, he was just always very flamboyant. So, and I don't know if something happened to him, but he was with my grandma since he was like 4. So it's unlikely.
Well, they would try to
funny when a guy like flips their hair when they like don't have any. There's like, gayness, performative gayness, I think, is a big part of the culture, like maybe fitting in. Again, I'm not a gay man, but some of that is put on a little bit extra.
You think the effeminate is a put on?
I think sometimes it is. I think it's a learned, like the way that AOC changes her accent depending on who she's with. Like I forget where I saw it, but there was a gay guy like coming out of a coma or something, and like coming to. And when he first started speaking, he spoke kind of normally, but then eventually like he went back to his like gay speak. I'll have to find that. I'll have to check my sources on that.
And it's so annoying because I'm going to mention it and I can't think of it, but there's like this, like I see him on Instagram. I don't follow him, but I always get suggested to him. It's like a gay couple. They're like, we're eating at Chili's. Have you guys ever seen that gay couple that they're super effeminate gay?
A gay couple that eats at Chili's?
No, they eat at all these like fast food restaurants, but they're like, they have like millions of followers, but I can't think of it. But like they act extra effeminate and it's funny. There's something funny about it. So yeah, I guess maybe it is a little performative.
This is a tweet from Asa from August 9th, 2014. I can't tell if sex with 18-year-olds is keeping me young or making me prematurely feel really fucking old.
See, this is what I was going to say earlier, but this kind of confirms it. This is somebody who not only has some very apparent symptoms of some mental health issues that are clearly severe enough to make us all drop our jaws, but also she has a self-esteem issue. I think she has to feel like, oh yeah, I still got it by having sex hypothetically with boys younger than her. Like the idea of it.
Yeah. If I had seen this tweet and not that clip, I'd be like, okay, she said 18. She's also very much selling a fantasy. She's very much like selling this idea. She wants guys who are attracted to like the MILF fantasy to be into her. She's like constantly, you have to be promoting yourself. You're selling this fantasy that, whatever it is, like your wheelhouse of scenes that you do. But the fact that I've seen that clip and this, it's like, okay. It's just painting a little bit of a picture. And then there's a tweet also from a few years ago from October 2017. When do a boy's balls drop? Getting really mixed reviews.
She's really creepy. Imagine if a guy was doing this.
Right. We shamed all the guys that couldn't wait for Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen to turn 18. There's so many examples. Britney Spears. And I think she gets away with a lot because she's hot and desirable and very famous. And a lot of people are like, ooh,
Click. Does Asa Akira have that many followers? Is she that famous? Because I mean, I guess I heard of her. She's the face of Pornhub, but how old is she? I wonder.
Hold on, I'm gonna.
Yeah, and you wonder why Pornhub had to remove 80% of their unage verified content. Even their verification system required no ID, by the way. So their verified didn't mean shit.
She has 900,000 on 42.5K followers. So
she has 1 million followers.
Almost at 1 million. Yeah.
It's a slippery slope. You need a harder and harder hit with porn, and this is the problem with lolicons too. But nobody wants to address it. Nobody wants to acknowledge it.
Lolicons, elaborate, Britt. Stop talking so fast. What Lolly is handwritten porn? I know all about stuff, and I'm not even very familiar with Lolly. Explain, please. Tell me, elaborate.
I'll give a TLDR. I've done so much content on it by now in the past week, especially. But basically, it's simulated child explicit pornography. It's virtual CP, if you will.
It's explicitly child stuff.
Yeah, so it's not petite women.
Very young.
It's not petite women. It's like drawn children, and it's porn, and people jerk off to it, and then they try to pretend it's not because they're attracted to children. When meanwhile, if you're a straight guy, would you ever masturbate to gay porn? No, you wouldn't, because you wouldn't be straight. So you're clearly attracted to children, the idea of children, and you're touching yourself to it. And they try to justify it and through these crazy mental gymnastics. And they get very mad when you call out what it is and why it's wrong to sexualize children and normalize it. And it's becoming a huge issue. Like there are millions of people following some of these accounts that promote lolicon, retweeting literal photos, like drawn pictures of little kids in like kindergarten outfits, like with Gaoru Gura. She did that. And then right under it is her character that's a kid. Not the voice actress. The voice actress is above 18, but the character sounds, acts, and looks like a child. Right under it is just like an upskirt shot, under boob shot of the same kid character. Like right under it. And this has been going on for years. And this channel has 4 million subs. This other lolicon channel, Rev Says Des, he got really mad at me.
Wait, there's lolicon YouTube channels? Slow down, Britt. What?
Yeah, they support it.
You know there's naked yoga? You know there's naked yoga on YouTube?
I heard about that.
Mm-hmm. There's so many double standards.
You can find titties.
Thank you for the Rumble rant, E. Morris K. WTH, I started to look around my house for a cat. Glad you are streaming on Rumble. Hope you keep it up. Thank you. Yes, I'm definitely going to make a more concerted effort to stream on Rumble more. But yes, these are Alex's cats that you're hearing. I'm
gonna get my soup. Give me 1 second.
Get your soup. Get your soup. I'm gonna hit some of these supers.
soup.
Tarzan Jungle Kung Fu for 5. Saw Choe on Rogan's podcast. Really? Saw him on Rogan.
Yeah.
A couple years ago. After I saw this video, sometime after it completely
He like
changed.
was an early investor in Facebook too. Sorry, Chris.
Wow,
David
okay.
Choe, I think. Yeah.
So crazy rich Asian. After I
Yeah.
saw this video, sometime after it completely changed how I saw this dude. These people are trash, and it's pretty interesting because. Like Frank was looking to see, you know, when we were trying to figure out like what podcast was this from, how old is it, etc. Frank was like, oh wow, the entire YouTube channel is completely wiped. This has been all scrubbed away. I don't even know if this David Choe still does podcasts. And again, this clip is from like 2012 or 2014. So this dude has had, you know, 10 years to get this off the internet. But it's interesting that it still circulates. Viking, thanks for the super chat. Dontarius blackmailed Alex's wife. He sure did.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
Michael Gavin Ali is Brittany anti-porn. Yes, Michael. Where have you been? Boy, she thinks watching porn would get you into cross-dressing, abuse women, and the list goes on. Yes, that's Brittany Venti.
I mean, well, I just want to say this real quick because you deal with a lot of these, you know, adult actresses. Other than like Gigi, aren't most of them kind of just like a mess in their personal life? I mean, I knew a couple out in LA and they were like all alcoholics, but I only knew 2 girls that were, and there was one girl and then her friend, and they were both just.
It seems like
yeah,
more of them are. Of course, I know a few who very much have their. It seems like they you know, they don't like dependent on substances. They very much run their business and act like business people and are organized, but then it's also like I noticed it too, even, you know, for
that's the
Westpod,
exception, Chrissy.
for
You
Westpod,
know that's the
I'll
exception.
book porn stars occasionally on this podcast if it's like something topical, you know, like Brandy Love getting thrown out of a Turning Point, or like something, you know, in the news that hits the news. But I notice of any other group of people that I deal with, unfortunately, adult film stars are the most flaky, the most unreliable bunch, and it happens over and over. And I'm just like, what? How is it so hard to like get a Google Calendar? How hard is it to get a paper calendar? It's just
Does that happen all the time on the web spot?
Yes,
the website all the time. Okay, yeah.
I would say at least 2 or 3 out of the 4 shows I have every month, a porn star bails, which is why I have to book like at least 2, or I'm just, unless I know I'm booking my friends like Zia or whatever, Amy or Gigi, they're solid. Because we're also friends, and they, but it blows my mind how the flakiness and just the lack of, I guess, seriousness or organization or like whatever is going on. And like the excuses that I hear, oh my God, like people will be like, text me literally like where I have confirmed with them that morning at like 9:30, they'll text me half hour before, like, oh, I'm not feeling well. It's like, oh my God, like what new sickness is this where you feel fine in the morning and then suddenly half hour before the show, it's just wild. I just can't stand the lying. It's like, I'd rather you just be like, fuck, I totally forgot. Or like, I'm going to go do an escort gig instead or whatever. But it is what it is.
I don't even take the lying personally. Like I've been in the car business, and like, you know, I mean, booking guests, you hear all because, I got to do this. So it's like, you know, I don't know. It is annoying. It's just, hey, tell me we can't do the show or this and that. But it's just funny how, you know, I've heard everyone in the book, as they say.
Yeah. Oh, or something with their dog, which I'm really sympathetic to dogs, but
of course, pet, I'm most sympathetic to.
This is how the soup came out. So I have the broth to the
that
side.
soup looks like a solid. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what is that? Where the webcam is a little grainy.
You're on dial-up. We can't really see.
I don't know why it does that on StreamYard. I never have issues with that on my end, but it's basically like a French soup. It's called I don't know how to pronounce it. Francese? I don't know. Chicken francese.
Chicken franchise?
I don't know. If
that's not a soup. That's just like a sauce that goes over chicken.
Well, whatever. It's soupy enough. But they call it a soup in the video. That's how they refer to it, as a soup.
There's a chicken franchise soup?
Yeah, there's a lot of broth that they tell you to put. I tasted the sauce.
What is it?
broth.
White
tastes really
wine?
good.
What's in? What is
Yeah.
français? What's the sauce? White wine?
Yeah.
Oui.
Wine and cream. It tastes really good.
Anna, one of the funniest excuses was like, yeah, someone's dog got sick or the dog needed surgery.
I
Yeah.
said that. I say that all the time. With my pet, something with my pet, but that a lot of times it's true. But yeah, I use pet excuses all the time for stuff. My number one go-to excuse probably the pet dog.
I'd rather
homework is what I call
if you're
it.
gonna be flaky, I'd just rather get the real, honest, flaky reason than you suddenly making up an illness a half hour before the show starts. It's like, no, you would have had to leave your hotel like way earlier.
Wait, I have a question in regard to that because I was on with my friend James yesterday, and Jesse from Pod Awful came on, and I was asking him like, why does he not like you?
Who?
And he had met Jesse from Pod Awful, and he said it was because it
I don't
started.
know who that is.
When he invited you on, and then you canceled 5 minutes before because you said you were worried about him trolling you. So I wanted to know like what was up with that? Like how do we get it? How do we?
Are you a Pod Awful stan? Are you a Pod Awful stan, Britt?
None of this sounds familiar to me.
I
but
think he's all right, but I was
maybe
curious
Frank
about it
can
because he asked me
confirm.
to host to like have you guys like talk it out.
I don't
So-
even remember this
Pod
person. I
Awful-
feel horrible.
This is the
Like, I
problem
don't
with
even
Jesse,
recognize
and
the
I
name.
actually.
What's
and
your
I
side of that?
appreciate Jesse. I appreciate because I don't want to go on Jesse's show because Jesse's like basically kind of a stalker in a little bit of a way. I mean, his content is just focused on other people. So like basically all he does is make content about me or Mersh. So it's like
Yeah,
I knew
he's a troll.
that,
He does some trolling. I agree.
but that's all he does. That's his whole
content.
that's his whole content. He doesn't go out on the street. He doesn't interact. So he just literally his whole entire universe, his whole ecosystem relies on reacting to other content. He's just copying Red Bar. He's just a Red Bar copier. And so it's just like, yeah, he's exactly like Red Bar, Chrissy. Like how Red Bar is to you, this guy is to me.
And no one's gonna be
Exactly.
better at Red Bar than Red Bar. Like he.
Well,
No.
okay,
Oh,
so-
this guy
Yeah.
wishes he was Red Bar, not even close.
So how come you cannot like someone's content and
Wait,
still like
Venti, are you
hash it out?
talking about
though?
I canceled 5 minutes before? Or Alex did?
no.
'Cause I've never heard of this.
I'm asking about
Britt,
Alex.
Britt,
I just heard this yesterday.
You want me and Jesse to become buds? I don't want to be friends with Jesse. I have no beef with Jesse. I appreciate him making content about me. I would appreciate anybody that spends that much time watching my content. He literally says he watches every single video. So he's unironically a fan. He's going to tell you that I suck, yet he watches every single second of every single video of every single post on every single
Sounds like a
platform
fan.
that I even participate on. And so for the fact that he tries to act like he's so much cooler than me, then half of his content is all based upon me. So it's just dumb for him to actually tell his audience he doesn't like me when he needs me. He
might have
needs
a
Merch.
crush.
But
The
maybe
same
that's why
people
he
he
wants to go to
hates,
terms.
he needs.
Maybe that's why
Say
he
that
wants to
again,
talk-
Brett.
Maybe that's why he wants to talk it out. It seemed like he was open to it.
All right,
I know
we're
you guys
getting-
have
we're
beef.
switching topics. We're not.
No.
we're not here to talk
I'd like
about
to talk
somebody
this
I've
out
never heard
because
of.
he's going to clip this. He's going to talk this, and Brittany's energy's been weird all night. I thought we were kind of friendly, Brittany. Like you're coming on my show. You know, I thought we were friends. And you're trying to
friendly.
white. Not,
Well, hold on.
Yeah, but
So-
you're just coming
hold
here trying to
on.
white
So I
knight for
can't-
Jesse.
No,
It's
I'm
just-
asking
but you
about
can
it.
ask. You can ask it, but there's just the way you're asking about it. It just seems
So
like you're
hold on,
kind of
if I'm
trying to
being
troll
fair,
me,
so
which is
hold on,
fine.
if I'm
Yeah,
being
be
fair,
fair.
then it's I'm being weird. Why can't I just ask about it? Because like, where the topic
Okay,
is
okay,
like
here,
5
I'll
minutes
ask you
before.
this.
I just want to know.
If you look at my
why.
content, Britt, if you look at my content, how many videos do I have about Jesse?
I don't think you have much content about him, but I don't know.
I have 0. Now, if you looked at Jesse's content, look how many videos are about me.
I saw at least
listen,
1 or 2. Definitely at least more than 2.
There's about probably 10. So he needs me. I don't make videos about him. So by me talking to him, he needs me, Britt. I'm his big fish. So that's why I'm not going to go on his show. I don't make videos about Jesse. And as a matter of fact, I don't care if anybody watches it. I think he uses a lot of production quality and it's good. And I like him making videos about me. He might say, oh, Alex is a liar. No, I actually appreciate it. And as a matter of fact, like I encourage him to make more videos about me. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart because
Also,
I actually
Alex,
think
like, you're busy. Your time is really valuable. Like you don't have to go on someone's show just because they really want you to go
on
on
anybody's show. I'll go on anybody's show, but he needs me to go on his show, Britt. That's why he's begging me. That's why he's trying to say I'll work it out. He would love to have, this is the Alex Stein episode. For his fans, it would be his biggest episode. But for my fans that don't know him, it wouldn't mean jack squat. So it's not worth it for me to try to put him over in wrestling terms. I'm not trying to give him a bump. He needs me. And so that's why I'm not going to go on his show. That's why he wants to try to ingratiate himself with any show I go on. He tries to do, anytime I go on a guest, he does the same thing with Mersh. It's a very weird pattern for an adult male to all you go and do and is watch other people's content and then comment on it. Because listen, there's so much cringe stuff that I do. I agree. There's cringe stuff that you do. But if you microanalyze every single person's content and you say, this person sucks, yet you watch every single second of it, you are such a hypocrite that it's just sad that you even have a fan base that respects your opinion when you're just so hypocritical. So listen, I got no beef with Jesse PS. I honestly mean that, but I'm not going to go on his show. It doesn't benefit me, but it would benefit him. So that's why that's the answer to that question.
No, I think that makes sense if you don't want to go on someone's show, if it's not like career-wise beneficial for you to, if it's like a size thing. But I'm wondering about specifically that incident, like why 5 minutes before, if you already agreed to go on it. That's what I was asking about.
It wasn't 5 minutes before. It wasn't 5 minutes before. And because honestly,
that's why I want your side of this. Like, I want to hear your side of it. I'm curious.
Because before I canceled, I didn't know Jesse PS. I went on, I had him on my podcast. I had him on the Conspiracy Castle. I had no idea how deep and dark his web. I had no idea anything about him. And then I see all these videos making fun of Mersh, who I like Royce and Mersh. I like them. I'm friendly with them. So I see him going after them. And this is the thing. I used to hate watch this girl called Amberlynn Reed. We've talked about her on this show. And I would watch her shows. I'd be like, unironically, I like this. And so I used to watch him make fun of Mersh. I just saw it. I'm saying that in between time to when I had him on my show, like I immediately had him on my show. He's in my chat. I want to come on. I want to come on. I love Alex Stein. I like Alex Stein. He's going to say that's not true. He was saying that he liked me. I was his new favorite guy, yada, yada, yada. He's going to say, I was trolling. Regardless.
Wait, so how much before the show was it?
I don't understand how this is relevant to the stream, though, like the particular.
Because she wants to talk about this because she wants to be. She's trying to. I guess she's buddies with Pod Awful now. I thought Brittany and I were a little tight, but you're trying to find out about this. Like his whole listen, Chrissy, and I don't mind talking about this, but his whole thing
defended you, right? Like yesterday when we talked on stream.
I didn't watch. I have no idea. I didn't watch the stream. I have no idea. You just said you're on it.
Me asking one question, and then you're like, "Oh, you must hate." It's like I backed you up. I was like, yeah, I don't agree with the swimsuit thing, but he's been nice and I think he has good intentions. Like I actually spoke well of you.
You don't agree with me putting on a woman's swimsuit?
No, I don't think you can ironically suck dick, and I stand by that. I'm consistent. I try to be fair.
So I'm transsexual, is that what you're saying? I agree. I think I am.
No, I'm saying you can't ironically like show your ass to children. Because there was like kids around in that instance, so I don't think that was in the best taste.
You're talking about when I went to Bachman or whatever. What's that place called? You're talking about in Austin, for Barton Springs. So you're telling me? So you think that's bad that I wore that at Barton Springs?
I don't think you were trying to wear it in front of kids.
No, I don't think that was the intention. But I thought it was like something that may have been well intended, but like a bad result. So I was saying I personally.
Well, first of all, this is why I do stuff like this, because I could care less about other people's opinion. Like I'm very unapologetic. I feel like by
I enjoy
the actions that so. Yeah, and you don't have to enjoy it all. I don't really expect you to, but it's just funny that you say that you don't like that. It's because I want to push the limits, and I go to these events, drag your kids to pride events, and it's even much more grotesque than that. They're actually simulating sex, tipping them. This is the like literal Disney version of that. So I'm trying to bring awareness to this. I'm getting clicks on the internet 100% for 100% when I get clicks on the internet. Because I'm mocking this stuff. So I get that you don't like it, but if you're going to try to say I'm a disgusting person or you hate it that much and now, we're not friends, it's just, I think that's,
I feel like you're putting a lot of words in my mouth for someone who defended you yesterday.
And I think that picture of
Alex, I don't know that you defended me.
in the back is like somebody who clearly hates Alex is like, oh yes, like I can zoom in on
I
this
use that picture. I still use that picture. I can care less. Listen, and first of all, I put on that swimsuit for like 2 minutes at that leg to make a point, and I hope that kid did make a point. I hope they looked at me and they said, that is wrong. Look at that person. That is not how the status quo should be. That man should not be in a full bathing suit. But first of all, let me tell you this, and when I wear that outfit, everybody says it's so bad. If you go look at Andre the Giant, you look at a wrestling singlet, we're allowed to watch wrestlers wear literal, basically thongs, hanky-panky. So me in a one-piece bikini, I'm more covered than what you can see on Channel 5, NBC News. So for you to try to act like it's like the biggest deal, I'm trying to make a political point. I'm trying to push boundaries. I'm trying to take risks, and I get criticism from people that would never go outside and never take one of the risks that I take. So it's just funny how you're like, I guess judging me, but I don't judge you, Brittany, and I'm sure you're perfect, and I'm sure, everything you've ever done is great, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. But see, I'm not perfect, but I just think it's kind of rich.
So I'll address.
I mean, you like to bring it up because you're trying to talk about all of these Jesse P.S.
Why are you so defensive?
Because I'm annoyed because this guy talks. All he does is make content about me, and you're just on his podcast, and now you're using all of these talking points, I guess, to try to troll me, and it's just not appreciated. It's just annoying.
I asked you about like.
So you said you don't like that. You willingly brought up.
So 2 things.
Okay, but you care that I canceled on some random person's podcast? You care about that, Britt? You've never canceled on somebody's podcast before?
No, I definitely have. But my point was like that.
I mean, I remember the first time I tried to get you on your podcast, you were like, oh, you have to talk to my agent. You were a pain to try to talk to get on a podcast. So you're trying to call me out for trying to be difficult to get on a podcast.
I tried to pay. What?
Seriously.
What about paying?
No, I'm saying you're trying. I'm saying it was a pain to book you. You're a pain to get on a podcast. So for you to try to act like you're some perfect person that you've never canceled on somebody throwing, shade at me about that, it's just unappreciative. I don't know what that's all about.
I mean, you could feel like it's shade. I'm sorry you feel that way, but to address really quick, to address your point about the really quick, to address your point about like the wrestlers and wearing that. The difference is if you're going in person and like you're a guy and you're wearing a swimsuit and it's like inappropriate and you're showing like skin that's like deemed as weird, inappropriate for men, and you're in front of children, that's different than a child watching on TV. Not that that's necessarily good.
So there's no kids live. There's no kids live at a wrestling match, Brett.
But it's like in very close proximity.
So you're telling me. No, you're telling me a kid ringside at a wrestling event and watching a person in a Speedo, men are in Speedos in wrestling, dedicated to children, in more cloth than I'm wearing in the one piece. So you're saying that is sexual predation or whatever? That's a sexual predator? Is that what you're trying to insinuate?
I'm putting a pin in this. We have some super chats.
I want to answer. I want her to answer that question, Britt. Is that a person wearing a Speedo at a wrestling match and a kid watching that ringside? Is that being a sexual predator? I want you to answer that question.
I like how I try to go into this to squash.
Just answer the question. Yes or no? Answer the question. Answer the question.
And then it turns into, how dare you criticize me? Answer this trick question. It's like,
just answer. Just answer the question. Well, if it's so bad, is that so bad, Britt?
So your question.
Just answer it.
Your question.
Yeah.
Is,
so is that bad? Is that bad? If a man is in a Speedo in a wrestling and there's a kid ringside 5 feet from the wrestler, is that bad?
So the parents are bringing them to the wrestling match versus like at a beach or a lake in that photo you were in, and you're dressing and you're purposely
their parents brought them to and
you're purposely dressing in a way where it's supposed to be like provocative because that's the point, right? You're trying to do satire. So you're purposely dressing in a sexual way.
One piece is not provocative. First of all, a bathing suit's not sexual.
On a guy, it is, and that's why you wore it. Isn't that the point of the satire?
No, the point. If I wanted to wear a sexy bathing suit, I would have worn a bikini. The point of the satire is that I'm wearing a bathing suit mocking Leah Thomas, who everybody has to see that picture. So everybody that saw a picture of Leah Thomas in a Speedo, is that like sexual predation or something? I mean, is that the worst? Is that what you're trying to say? That is that a sexual crime to you because that picture gets shared and seen by kids?
When a guy wears a woman's bathing suit, I do think that's kind of weird and sexual. I think that's the point of why you wore it. That is weird. To make fun of that.
Yeah, and I am weird. So I would never say that I'm not weird. But like, if you're trying to insinuate that, you can't do that
ironically, is my point. So I don't know why you have such a problem with me not liking that bit. Why can't I? Why can't I
wear a women's bathing suit?
So Alex, do you want me to be dishonest with you and be like, yeah, that was like the best thing to do in the world? Like, no, I'm gonna be honest.
You
If I like
can't.
someone,
You can be honest, but like you're talking about that, and then you're bringing up this other stuff. It's just annoying. I don't know what this is all about.
Okay.
I just thought we were friendly, and obviously we're not. I mean, it's just very obvious that your energy.
One more question
is.
of the other person about this issue with an answer, and then we're gonna move on.
No, I mean, I don't even care. It's just obvious that Britt has.
Okay, but I care, and I'm trying to move on. It's not like we finished a topic and moved on to a new topic. I literally am not even done talking about the reason why we're streaming. So I just think it's like not really fair to completely derail.
You can switch it, Chrissy. It's your show. But I'll just end it on saying that yesterday when I was on the podcast, MK Ultra Monies, and Jesse came on, like I said I like the things you did. I like some of your trolling, but it's my opinion that I don't think the bathing suit thing in front of kids' face is a good choice, because it's like you can't ironically wear sexually provocative things as a guy wearing a woman's bathing suit.
It's not sexually provocative.
And what's wrong with me not liking that? Everyone does things I don't like.
You're allowed to not like it, but you're like bringing up all this small stuff with this guy, this internet troll that all he does is make content about me. It's just annoying, Britt, and then just gives him all this content. It's just annoying, It's just that's why. So you're just annoying me, and I thought we were friends, and obviously we're not, because you're coming here and you're just asking me all these questions. It's just so obvious. It's just like you're just.
I think you're
trying to stir
really
the pot.
offended and emotional right now. When I was just asking
I am
you,
emotional. I am emotional because it is annoying. Because it's something I'm emotional about. Yeah, I know, because it's something when somebody creates, all they do is create content about you. Britt, do you have that? Or is there somebody that is all they do is they watch your stuff and then react to it?
I'm sure everybody has like different degrees of like people who react to them, and then there's people who will stalk you, and then people who are like really unhinged.
So is that fun? Is that fun when people stalk you?
This is why I was asking your side of it, so I can get the full picture. Because Chrissy brought up the 5 minutes of force.
It's just annoying.
I don't think it's
annoying because you're like befriended my stalker, and you're now bringing up all the drama that the stalker tries to.
And I don't think it's fair to frame Alex as somebody someone like equated to someone who does a drag queen story hour, or a dude who dresses purposely to be in front of kids. Where this was
the intention's not the same. The intention's not the same at all, and that was my point. And that's what I said to Jesse too. I said that I didn't like that thing in particular, but you've done other good things. So I think that you're being kind of unfair in like really bad assumptions when I was just asking you about like, hey, this guy said stuff in relation to the 5-minute thing. So like, what's up with that? Can you guys hash it out? And you're like, oh, you hate me now. Why are you friends with this person who's insane? It's like, chill out. I said I didn't like one thing that you did, and I feel like you can't wear a women's swimsuit while being a guy in front of kids.
Well, I'm going to continue to wear women's bathing suits. I'm going to continue to do whatever I want, unapologetically, with it, with your approval or not. In front of anybody, yeah. I mean, in front of anybody, I'm going to do whatever I want. That's what I'm going to tell you. I'm never going to commit a crime or do anything sexual in front of a kid, but am I going to wear a bathing suit potentially in front of a place where
in front of children?
Yes. I wear a women's bathing suit for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life. I'm trans. I'm primetime 99 Alexandria
I didn't
Stein.
plan for it to go like this. Like when I asked that, I was trying. I don't think you should wear female swimsuits in front of children. That's really weird.
Well, I'm a transgender. As a transgender, I'm going to start doing drag queen story time. And then what are you going to do when I start doing that, Britt?
Are you going
to shut it down? Are you going to protest my drag queen story time for children?
So there's an intent difference, but the execution's the same. That's not proof. You're just
a
good execution.
This is the DVDASA channel that originally interviewed Asa and posted this clip. And as you can see, everything is gone. It had 12.4K subscribers, no videos. This was a new lifestyle, relationship, and entertainment podcast for young adults. I don't know what the rest of the description says. Can you click on that?
Whose account is that? Is that the girls?
This was the DVDASA. Oh, which I guess stands for David. Wait, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It was David Choe and I think Asa Akira's podcast that they did together.
And they nuked
everything.
everything.
This primary goal of helping youth with relationship, sexuality, gambling, and career problems as a practicing adult film. Can you read that? I can barely make that out.
A new lifestyle,
really hard to see.
Relationship and entertainment podcast for young adults with the primary goal of helping the youth relationship, sexuality, gambling, and career problems. So basically, she's tying it all together. Okay, so it's like a type of person. As a practicing adult film star who has been to the STD clinic more than most people, Asa Akira's answers have medical credibility, but what? But the addition of the interior decorator David Choe result in a program with entertainment value as well. The entire crew.
This show needs an interior decorator.
I'm confused by this description. The entire crew repeatedly lures listeners with dirty jokes and wisecracks in hope that they learn something that could improve their lives. Actors or members of popular bands often participate as adults. Most people say they enjoyed the show, but keep in mind, most people are liars. It sounds like she kind of has random people on. That's basically what I get from the second 2/3 of that.
Okay, I gotta go. Jesse's gonna just clip this up and make content about it. I'm annoyed. Brittany, you annoyed me.
You shouldn't have emotionally reacted and assume I'm in bad faith.
Brittany, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. You don't watch my content. Do you not get that I'm emotional? That's my whole bit. That's my whole thing is I'm not all stoic like you, where I'm just trying to look like a robot. I'm frozen. No, I say
okay
my emotions.
It's okay to not like people and not do everyone's show.
I know. What I'm saying, I show my emotion, Britt. So you say I'm emotional. No shit. I'm emotional about the smallest thing. I'm emotional about my cat. I'm emotional about a
You can be that way.
Chat. So
and
yeah,
you can be
I'm
that
emotional
way.
about everything.
And you can be that way, but don't expect.
Am I emotional?
If you do that, that's going to be the result. If somebody is trolling you, like you're saying Jesse is, or like somebody is going to like clip things, then why would you give them the reaction that's going to like make them mad? I was trying to do the opposite thing, but then you went off. So now you just like kind of made your problem worse.
It's not a problem. I actually like when they make content about me. I'm not saying that ironically.
About them clipping. So like clearly,
no,
you
I'm
don't
complaining
want that.
because they. No. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just complaining that you're on his side of it because I thought we were friends. Obviously, we're not. It's just annoying.
I'm not on his side of anything. My own opinion
I'm just upset. I just thought we were friendly, and I thought I don't know. I just thought we would have talked about this in a different way. And I just thought we were a little closer than that. And now I realize that we're not. And that's fine. And maybe I'm upset about that. It's not even about Jesse. I just thought we were a little tighter than this, that you trying to like call me out on the stream. And I don't care. I hope they clip it. I mean, I'm a pimp on a blimp. I want people to watch my stuff. You think I give a damn? I want the clicks. I want the views. But at the same time, I just thought we were, friendlier than this. And we're not. And that's cool.
So
and that's
too.
how it is.
I thought so too. And then you just started.
We're not. You're on Team Jesse.
I literally just talked this person
we're not
yesterday.
teammates.
I just don't understand why this had to be brought up. Like, because I don't even. It would be one thing if I knew who these people were, then I could at least participate in it. But I have no clue who these people are, so I feel like completely left out of this.
Because you brought up the 5 minutes before. Why would someone do that?
But that's a stretch. That's a
you brought it up. You brought all this up. You brought all this up. You're just annoying, Britt. You just annoyed me. So I don't want to. And
well, it came up yesterday, and I wanted to know what it was about.
Yeah, because all he does is talk about me. All he does is talk about me. I didn't bring him up. You brought him up. So yeah, you went on a podcast. You've been on my show. That it's just, and the fact that like you're an e-thought, the way he talks about you is so terrible. That's what they say about you. I've never said that. I'm just saying they say this terrible stuff about you. You go on this podcast. I don't think you realize that I would never ever say anything bad about you, and I'm never going to say anything bad about you.
I don't think you realized that yesterday I defended.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't
you.
matter. You bring it up today just annoyed me, and I'm annoyed by you. So it is what it is. I'm just saying we're not tight, and that's fine.
I can't ask.
No. I didn't like the way you asked me. It was annoying. You annoyed me.
I have to walk on eggshells because I'm trying to actually say like, hey, you guys should handle this out.
You know, because I don't want to hash it out. And then you kept bringing more stuff up. So it's just like, it wasn't just that.
I think
then
you
kept
turned
on bringing
into something way bigger and you made this into...
No, I reacted. I reacted because you're doing it on purpose.
Brittany was not picking up on Alex's signals that he doesn't like these people and would rather not talk.
No,
fine.
What I said, what I was trying to say is like, hey, it seems like he had this problem. Like, what's up with that? You guys should hash it out. Just let you know, because I just spoke to him on that stream yesterday. That was my first time hearing about it.
Are you and Eliza gonna go hash it out? Are you and Eliza gonna go hash it out?
Eliza had her opportunity to actually speak to me, and
she doesn't want to deal with you, and she doesn't want to deal with you. That's why, because you're annoying.
But Eliza falsely accused me of like doing something very criminal and wrong. Which was
Do you want to hash it out? And she doesn't want to hash it out. I'm just saying there's people
I
that
gave
do
her a
bad
chance
stuff
to actually.
You don't want to hash. There's just some people you don't hash it out with, and then you kept bringing up stuff. So I get it. You're so awesome, Britt. You're so badass. You're so cool. You know, you love to just bring up drama on the internet, and I get it. And I hope this gets clicks, and I hope this gets likes. I mean, like I said, I don't I don't care about that. I want to actually, create more content. But it's just, we're just, I can tell your vibes. I'm all about,
I
high
think you're
vibrational
reading
energy.
really far into things.
You have love
like
life.
I was
Well, I've
eating
read
my
into it
food and
enough.
just-
I've read into it enough. Yeah, I know. I see you eating your food. I can tell you're eating your food. Okay.
Thank you, Mark,
right.
for the super chat. Holy
right,
crap,
peace.
mommy and daddy are fighting. Alex is gone. All right, we scared him off. Ramble Gamble, Alex is becoming the joke itself. Oh, I just don't think he was prepared to talk about that, I guess, on this stream.
Yeah, so like what happened, Chrissy, was basically to give you the context. So Pod
Are these people
Awful-
you're friends with? I just don't know the
No,
connection.
my friends are, I guess, like friends with that person. I don't know like how far they go back or whatever, but I went on my friend James' podcast, MK Ultra Money. He's the guy who owns Women Posting Ills. That's his account. So he had on Pod Awful, the person that Alex has a problem with, and I was like, well, and then James brought it up, and Pod Awful was like, well, I wasn't even gonna bring it up because I know you like him and everything. I was like, so what's the deal? Like, what happened? He said, well, he canceled 5 minutes before because he said he was scared that I was gonna troll him, and then he basically explained that Alex had some other things, like he accused him of doing something that he didn't do, and then so on. I was like, oh, well, I like him. I think he's done good, but I agree with you on the swimsuit thing. I think it's inappropriate for a guy to be in a female swimsuit around children, regardless of the intention, because the execution is the same thing, is that you're bringing that around kids. And it's inappropriate, which is why he wore it, right? It's like why you would wear a female swimsuit. It's not quite on par in terms of like the intention of wearing a thong. That's why you would wear the female swimsuit.
I don't think he thought there would be kids there though that day. Like
no, and I figured the intention was good to make satire, but I always say like you can't suck dick ironically. And I'm just trying to be consistent in what I say with that. I don't want to give people like, oh, it's fine to do whatever you want because I like
why?
It's like, no, I like him, but
I guess why is
my one thing.
Alex bailing off a podcast? Whether it's 5 minutes before, whether it's with plenty of notice, like what does that have to do with you?
It has to do with, you brought up the thing about like, why would someone ever bail like only 5 minutes before? And then Alex is there like, yeah, it's like,
why bring it up unless it's
what about
important
that?
to you?
Oh, because it just happened yesterday. So I was curious about it. And Pod Awful asked me if I could mediate, so that they could both like hash it out. Because I was like, why don't you guys hash it out?
See, that's like, why would you let yourself be used for that?
To have them like hash it out?
But what does that have to do?
What would be wrong with
literally
that?
none of your business. Like, why would they like? It seems like they're clearly just trying to use you for, I don't know, content or to get a high profile guest. I don't know. It just feels like.
Well, if he wanted to, because it seemed like it's enough of an issue where like
these aren't people that I even know about. Like, why would it be relevant to bring that up here on this podcast where I'm trying to talk about another issue?
Because it was just related and it happened yesterday. I thought I would just casually ask. I just told you because of the 5 minutes before thingy. So I was like, oh yeah, that happened yesterday.
I think that's a stretch. I have no clue who these people are. It wasn't related to the topic of the stream. I don't know.
But we talk about things off topic all the time.
Yeah, but we weren't even done with this. I'm literally struggling to get through super chats, and I just feel like
I didn't want it to turn into that or extend that long, but he kept going
bring it
off
up
about it. Because I wasn't intending to bring it up to start a fight. I brought it up to ask him about like, hey, would you want to do that? Because I heard that thing happen related to what you said.
I just feel like if I was going to ask something completely unrelated, I would wait till we were kind of like done with the main topic.
We go off topic all the time on a lot of streams, but I didn't intend for him to like get offended or like get like that emotional about it. I was trying to genuinely like, hey, do you guys want to hash it out? Like, what was up with that? Like, if you want to talk about it, he could have just chose to not talk about it. If he didn't want
Are you
to.
close to these people? Like, you want to help this guy? Like, what
yeah,
was the
my
motivation
friend,
for you to want to help them?
My friend James, he's been a good friend for a while now. And like I visit him and his fiance when we go to New York and everything. And they had Jesse on and he's a friend of theirs. So I figured that like, hey, what's up with that? Like, it's just casual conversation. It's not like, oh, I want it to completely derail. It's just like things will come up on stream sometimes. You want to ask about it. But he like kind of like flipped out and assumed I had bad intentions. But Chrissy, the thing is, yesterday, like I defended Alex and I was like, I like some of his stuff. I don't agree with that one thing he did. I don't think the execution was great, but like he has some good trolling. So it's actually surprising to me that he would emotionally react in that way to like, oh, like in a, oh my God, you're horrible. And it's like, I literally spoke up for you yesterday. Hold on. I was just trying to have like normal conversation while eating my chicken and going on about the stream like we normally do.
Yeah, I guess. I just wanted him to talk about this Asa Akira stuff.
But yeah, I
But that's
totally didn't
okay.
extend it. I didn't expect it to go off topic like that long or like that strong of a reaction or
I
anything.
guess Alex was just genuinely thrown off because, and I get it because I have people who genuinely stalk and harass and shit post about me.
Oh, I
all
do
the
too.
time.
I
So
get that.
I wouldn't enjoy like somebody who I thought was a friend, like just bringing that up kind of out of nowhere. But
It
again,
wasn't
like, yeah, he probably shouldn't have gotten so mad, or at least seen people get like have people see him get emotional. But he is an emotional person, so
Yeah, it wasn't malicious at all. I don't really know what he meant by the vibe was off. Like, I'm kind of always the same on stream. So I think he was like reading really far into it and thought like, oh, I'm on team Jesse. It's like, no, I just conversed with this person yesterday and asked about it. And I just wanted to like,
I guess I just feel like
if he
if
wanted
the
to hash it
conversation
out.
wasn't going in the way of a resolution or an answer, I don't know why it wasn't just dropped.
Well, that's what I'm wondering too. But he kept going off on and on and on. And I was like, whoa, what is this? Like, and then you kept trying to steer it. I'm like, okay. And then he just kept going. So I'm like, and he keeps asking me questions.
I mean, you definitely both kept it going, but what are we gonna do? Idol Paul, she raped that kid and was looking for justification. Those simps gave her what she was looking for. Ugh. Jen McMahon, corn is a construct. Okay.
But yeah, sorry that it took so much time out of it. I really didn't intend for that.
I mean, I guess
or
we
want
could
it
have
to go
just,
that long.
stopped it at any point and gotten back to the topic, but that's all right. Things happen. The squid, thanks for the 20. It's obviously gross and I won't justify it, but for some reason, the idea of older women in their mid-20s and older getting with younger teen boys was way more socially acceptable back in 2012. Gross thinking back at it now. It's crazy, especially as we're getting into a place in culture where we really are calling out groomers and what seems like an overwhelming amount of dudes pretending that they're, women all of a sudden, and autogynephilia being confused for being a transgendered person. And it does seem to be, to see this clip in 2023 with Asa, it's like, wow, what a double standard that if you have a pretty porn star saying similar things that everyone's like, wow, you're so cool, instead of being like, yikes, this is kind of groomer behavior. But
autogynephilia is like not really talked about much. Have you noticed that amongst people who talk about like the trans stuff and the sexual stuff, but like somehow autogynephilia is never, it's almost like it doesn't exist in a way. Like that's how it seems like people treat it, like it's a theory as opposed to like
it's like
tangible
how
thing.
Bisexual people have disappeared. Now it's like, oh, the non-binaries have taken over, it seems. JTL, y'all should look at the 18 USC. I have no idea what that is. Fun laws. Okay. Pilgrim Media, what are your thoughts on YouTube TradCon grift? Who do you mean specifically? Do you just mean like YouTube, like traditional conservatives in general? I guess that's what that stands for.
TradCon?
I don't know.
Like as in the trad wives thing that was trending recently, or do they mean like just conservative?
It's hard to know.
Media?
Yeah, it's hard to know which particular, I guess, content creators fall into this box, because there are some people that have very conservative views on some topics, but not so much on others. And do you mean like TPUSA or like what else? Like Daily Wire is pretty consistently conservative, I guess.
I'll say that I know that a lot of conservative media, in terms of like some of the figureheads, there's a lot of them that aren't who they say they are. And this isn't just me saying that. Lauren Southern's spoken on it. So many people have spoken on it at this point. We had a whole thing on Simcast about the right-wing casting couch with Ashton. So maybe that answers the question a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just true, I guess, it's hard to know. Like, is it a grift, or is it just like you don't find this person authentic or believable, or you feel like their views aren't consistent? I mean, like, I think grift at this point is becoming one of those words I'm so sick of hearing, because it's just like, okay, anyone who gets money to do anything is grifting. Okay. Viking, didn't Brittany get famous showing cleavage on Twitch? Do kids not watch Twitch?
Kids do watch Twitch. However, cleavage, I don't think is one of those things where it's like, Oh my God, how risque. I think it's because I have big boobs naturally that it's made more into a big deal for me wearing the same clothes that other women will wear that are considered normal and casual. And you go to the mall, you go to someone's fucking funeral, you go to anywhere in public, women will have cleavage. It's just like sometimes that naturally will happen when you have a tank top on if you have big boobs. So I don't really see that as like on par with like doing a bikini stream in the jacuzzi and like doing squats for donations. I don't really see that as like if someone actually thinks that's the same, I think they have brain damage.
Also, yeah, like a woman with bigger boobs is going to be seen as like more sexual than a woman
all the
with small
time.
boobs.
You'll wear the same. I'm sure you know, Chrissy, you're curvy too. Like you wear the same thing, and it's like, oh, and how inappropriate.
It'll be interesting to hear Zia's experience because she's going from like very small, like an A cup, and she just got her boobs done, and she's like probably going to be like a D now. It's going to be interesting, like what her experiences is of like people treating her different or how they, categorize her. Okay, right, oh boy, Alex is rattled. He was Ramble Gamble. Thanks for the 5. The Don Terrius overkill asking Lara Trump about bum stuff and now freaking out. Dude, you're becoming embarrassing. You're not my friend. Sad. I think he felt a little hurt. I think that's why he said that.
I feel a little hurt that he was yelling at me meanwhile I was defending him yesterday and like sticking up for him. And I'm just being consistent and fair. Like, hey, I didn't like this one thing he did, to be fair, but like I appreciate that he had me on We Are Here, and I like some of his trolling and things like that. Like, so I didn't like that I was yelled at and that it kept going on and on and on.
It seemed like he felt like you were more on their side. I
was, so I have to 100% be on one side or the other. That's being very radical. I'm not radical like that. I'm going to be fair. Like if Chrissy, if I actually care about someone, I actually like them, I have more of a motivation to be honest with them and tell them like, hey, like this wasn't cool. I didn't like this. Just like how you voiced your opinion with this of like, hey, well, like, I feel like you helped it go on, or like you're allowed to be honest and tell somebody what you think. You should do that if you actually care to be friends with them.
That's true, because it is so easy to just pretend. And yeah, I mean, I do this with so many people in my life, like pretend nothing's wrong. And then
what happens?
Okay, bye. And then you just quietly become more distant.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's better to like, it doesn't mean you have to like pick fights and everything, but it's like if somebody asks your opinion on something, like with the swimsuit thing, I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't like really like that. I guess I agree with Pot Off on that one thing, like that aspect of it, but like that doesn't mean I agree with all the other things of like, oh, he's just terrible, like, and he's unfunny and this is not. I was like, no, I find some of Alex's trolls funny.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if there's more to the story because I don't know anything about this.
I had only heard about the origin, backstory, everything yesterday, which is why I was like, oh yeah, speaking of which, like yesterday this happened.
Oh, we got a couple of Rumble rants. Shout out to Rumble E. Morsk. JP Sears did the women's bathing suit bit the best. He's so funny in that skit. Sorry, Alex. JP did it better. Step up your game. I haven't seen that. I wonder where that is. Rumble rant from E. Morsk again. Brittany egged it on. Maybe on purpose, maybe not. Either way, it's because she is immature. Needs to grow up a little bit more. Oh my God, Brittany.
Hold on. Wait, how am I the immature one? I just got screamed at by a man for like half an hour over something that was not ill-willed. And I even clarified that.
I think
and I'm not making this up. You can go watch the stream yesterday on MK Ultra's podcast. You could literally see it. Like, I'm not making it up.
Hi, Lila.
So it's like with Eliza, for example, when I asked her about it, it wasn't like with malice. I was like, hey, this isn't adding up. What's up with this? And it gets that like same kind of reaction. It's like, I'm left here like, what the fuck?
It sounded like he was just annoyed that you brought it up at all. And then felt like you were more on their side than his. This is without me having any clue about this. I'm just like going off of the vibes I was getting from Alex and how he was upset.
If you don't want to talk about it, I would have expected him to say like something short and just end it there instead of like spreading on and on. But I don't want to keep like derailing it. I want you to get through the super chats.
It's okay. Viking, at least Chrissy is going to get good views on this. Oh, Dan Halen, heartfelt. Oh boy. Remember?
You know what the good side of that is, though, Chrissy, is at the beginning of the stream of us talking about like this predator acceptance. That means more people are going to be aware about that. At least.
That's good. We're trying to, as long as it spreads awareness. And I don't even know if anything's going to happen to this woman. She's so famous. She's like probably a millionaire. She's going to continue to get work. This is probably a very acceptable view in the adult industry because who knows? Probably a lot of them have had very early sexual experiences that may or may not have affected their proclivities. But, and again, like not to sound like a freaking prude, but this is like, wow, everyone should have a problem with what she said. And it's crazy that at that table, only one person even pushed back a little bit. Maddie Ice, my tummy hurts. Oh, Dontarius. Brittany, tear down the David statue. I don't know what that's about.
What is that? Is that like the statue of David? Because it's art or something?
Oh, because it's a naked statue.
No. So I've explained my take on that. So the difference between art and pornography is that art, it has multiple case uses and end goals. And it can be appreciated for its beauty. Like people don't go to the museum to jerk off, essentially. That's the difference between art and... I'm
sure it's happened.
Yeah, but it's like, that's not what it gets consumed for. And it has multiple uses versus like porn's just like, yeah, you jack off and that's it. Same thing with video games. There's multiple different genres and cases.
I don't know. I had an art history teacher in college. I wouldn't be surprised if he jerked off at museums. He was like, you have to go. Look at the Monet.
Do you ever see those people who like, they'll read one art book, take one art class in college, and then they're like really stuck up about it and start using those terms?
Yeah. Oh, although I do remember a lot of random art history terms. I'll be like, oh, that's a mosaic, or like, oh, that's a frieze or whatever. And then I'm just like, great, I remember that, but not names of like, you know, people I've met a dozen times. Whoa, Boa. Alex does this on every stream that I see him join. He always blows up over little stuff. True. He could have stayed a little more collected. What's this? What's this you're bringing up? Oh my God, it's been memed already. Oh no.
Damn, you guys have some skills in Photoshop to do it so quickly.
The speed with which these memes are created always impresses me. Legion of Memers, they're on it. I'm on their watch list now. Mose Melendez, troll on troll crimes be crazy in the streets. Oh. Dev Cooper, thanks for the super sticker. Jeremy David, I'm late. Talk about the Landau interview yet? Oh, no, and I haven't finished watching it yet. I watched part of it. Michael Malice interviewed David Landau, and turns out Dave did not sign any kind of an NDA. So he spilled some tea about Steven Crowder for sure. But from the portion of the interview that I have listened to, it sounds like he was very controlling over Dave, wanted him to like work more without more pay, was very controlling over his stand-up comedy content, was controlling over his touring dates. And it makes sense for why he left the show. Yikes. I know. I want to listen to the rest of that. It sounds crazy though. I really like Dave Landau.
Do you ever listen to like
Asa again?
What?
Want to play the Asa?
Oh, sure. Let's play the Asa again. What were you saying, Brittany?
Oh, do you listen to those interviews on like 2x speed, or do you listen to it?
Yes,
like
1.5.
Okay.
1.5 is my default for everything now. Even I listen to myself and I'm like, I talk too fucking slow.
I like the Matrix background.
What are those cookies in the front there? I don't know. What is that? A keyboard? Why is there a vertical keyboard in front of this guy on the left?
Maybe it's sound effects.
This 13-year-old,
maybe.
I think
he could have easily passed for 15.
Okay, if I
he could have easily passed for 15.
Is this their IT crew on either side in case somebody forgets a password?
Oh, he wasn't necessarily like an old-looking 13. You look at him and he's definitely a child. He's just like really like he had the perfect tan.
A child
and
doing adult.
And
that shouldn't be considered statutory rape, and like it's consensual, and I was like, yeah.
No, that definitely no one would consider that rape except maybe his mom.
I don't think,
and that's only if she's like a yeah, and the law.
I don't think there's a person. I mean, are we tripping right now? Are we being delusional? Is there anyone that has a problem with that? I mean,
No.
I think there's not one person that would think that's abuse and would just think how lucky that kid is.
Ugh.
Pretty much.
I mean, and we're talking about Asa and this 13-year-old kid.
I would advise Asa not to do that.
No, I'm just.
We're not talking
about. We don't want the legal answer. We're just saying, is that a problem for you if that happens?
Like,
Seems like they're living in Eliza Blue's utopia here.
Really dirty if I went to the other room.
Yeah.
And this kid, like, would you look at me different?
Snapchat's very cyclical.
Yeah.
Maybe would you look at me different?
And how weird. This is so weird. Like, she's talking about this like she likes this, because I don't understand. Like, not that we need to get into the psychology of people that are into kids, but like, it must just be like either you've done everything and literally nothing excites you anymore and you have to do something taboo. I don't get it. Like, it's like this kid is young, like he's not gonna know how to do anything, so it's like, and like both ways, like there's no, it's like it's very disgusting and manipulated on the part of the adult, and it can only give the kid like trauma, like at best mild trauma, you know what I mean? Like, ugh, that wasn't comfortable. Like, I prefer that didn't happen, to way worse.
What does she have in common with a 13-year-old? That's the question I always ask with these things. Like
what is that 13-year-old gonna do for you? They don't know how to like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's just so fucked up. I really, like, even when I try to think about why, it's like I can't. It's so weird to me. It's so gross. Like, it's incredibly like selfish and depraved. It's like you're 0% of you is thinking about this kid. And maybe, it's the same age that she was when she lost her virginity. So you go, all right, well, I guess it was okay because it happened to me. But did she just admit to doing something? Ooh, I don't know. Maybe, because she does talk about it comfortably.
I think this is like a hypersexuality pipeline. I think there's a pipeline to this.
Play the rest.
But like, would you think that I'm doing something wrong? Would you feel bad for the kid?
I would be so proud of both of you guys. I'd be happy.
I would be
proud of both of
sad
you.
for the kid, because I'd be like, he won, but I'd be sad for you because you're going to the pokey.
Why would I go? Who's gonna tell? No snitching.
Snitching.
Money Mark,
Snitches.
as a father who has sons in that range, what would you say?
Well.
Okay, so this keyboard guy is the one with the kid. He's been very quiet the whole time.
How old's his kid, I wonder?
In the same range, so 13.
Oh.
Or 12 or 14. Yeah.
Maybe you should do a poll in the chat. Like, ask like chat's opinion, like on the morality of a 13-year-old with a woman. I'm kind of curious because I would like to think this is the default, that that's gross, but
Go to youtube.com.
Okay, let me see if I can do a poll.
Or are we just being prudes?
We're so prude. Did the phone go sideways or did we go sideways? How did that happen?
That's the
Okay, let me do a poll. I can do a poll. How should I phrase this? Is it wrong for a grown woman to have sex with a 13-year-old?
That's pretty straightforward.
Is it wrong for Asa Akira?
Like, who is in the wrong? It was Asa Akira right or wrong, basically.
Okay. Yeah. Is Asa Akira wrong? Yes or no? That's pretty straightforward. It depends. No. I think yes or no.
Yes or no?
Wow, I am doing a poll. Okay.
Is this your first one?
I think so.
Ooh.
Guys, be gentle. Okay, let's play the rest of this, or does it end there?
Let's ignore the law for a second. 30
You'd be fun because you'd go to prison and you really.
We're not talking about the law right now. Law. What are you, a like do-gooder or something?
I'm a snitch.
Are you a snitch? Oh yeah. Would you snitch on us?
I just realized that guy is not wearing a pink shirt. He's topless. He's just
We would never go to jail.
no shirt.
What are you talking about? What are you, the protector of 13-year-olds or something?
I think somebody has.
What a nerd.
What a nerd. I don't know. I think 13 is too young.
86% say yes, she was wrong. 14% say she was in the right. 14% is like, it's small, but it's sizable enough.
It's the dudes that are like, oh, I would love that. They can't separate themselves from their own fantasies. It's like, you want that for you.
If I were a mom, I wouldn't want it for my kid. I'll say that. I'm not having.
Yeah, and I don't even think a dad. I don't think a dad would want that for their son. Like, I've heard stories over the years of people that are like, oh, I lost my virginity to like a sex worker. I don't think that's okay. I had there's a fan of the show who had a young son. Do you remember, Frank, how old that his son was? And he was like, oh, he knew that I knew a lot of porn stars. Oh, can we get one of them to, take his virginity? And I was like, yikes, bro. I just was like, why is he doing this? 17, 18. He was socially awkward. I just couldn't believe that he was like, I was like, are you kidding? Are you actually asking me for this favor? Like, this is, I'm not a jizz lane here. This is not what's it called? A brothel? Yeah. Okay. Egg Thatcher. No, Epi Thatcher. Chrissy, awesome as always. But last time I watched when Brittany is on. Oh no. Goodbye, Epi. Chippy. Wow, I can't read today. Chicky. Brittany likes to be controversial, but Alex is becoming irrational. He's going down the Ethan Ralph pipeline. Uh-oh.
I hope you guys know that it's not intentional to be controversial in this aspect. Like, I wouldn't, for example, I wouldn't want Lolicon to be controversial. Like, hey, maybe you shouldn't jack off to the idea of children, but apparently it is. Like, it's just one of those things where, like, I guess where people are is a little different than where I am in certain things. So, yeah. But anyway.
It's icky when adults talk about it. Like, of course, like, yeah, I was 14. I'm 14. I hooked up with a 19-year-old. Not okay. Would not recommend. Like, was definitely coerced into that situation. But again, like, if it's a grown ass 30+ adult, or even like, God.
But you see how it is, like, the fact that, like, you even casually say it, it's like that's to a point where things get normalized. It's like, that's actually really messed up. Like, no, actually bad.
It wasn't great. And then you're like, it takes you years to realize, like, oh no, both of you should want to do it, and it should be fun for both of you and not feel like obligation or like, oh, I'm doing this to be cool or to like impress this person. But I bet that's common-ish. John Kelly, this guy is every Mersh fan in a butt shell. Oh, I don't know what that was about. Sorry, I got to it too late. K-Max, sorry. If off topic, but what does Brittany have against Pearly? Does she feel she is a phony? I thought that said a giraffe. A grifter.
She is tall.
She's a giraffe.
I mean, I basically explained it in the video. Yeah. TLDR. Like, she just changed her opinion in a month, so it seems kind of grifty.
I remember the part of your video when you would clip back and forth between, like, what was it, Andrew Tate and her, and like almost the exact same opinions.
Yeah, and Fresh and Fit. That's who she's simulating. Yeah, it was both. They it's kind of unoriginal. It's like there's no new talking points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Regurgitation.
She's a giraffe. She is tall. Okay, Christian, way to railroad someone else's pod. You should mediate on your own pod or by DM.
Well, like I said, we talk about things all the time that are like off topic. I didn't think it'd be like this whole let's bring it to a stop type of thing. But anyway.
Mm-hmm. St. Green Pact, kind of hypocritical to complain about a swimsuit.
For who?
Yeah, I need a little more context. But thank you. Ramble Gamble, greatest anti-porn ad ever. These people are vile. It is so tricky. It's like, right, when people go, oh, I'm really sexual, but then they also had a very early sexual experience. Like, I think I had a very too early, like earlier than I was ready for a sexual experience. And for a long time, I identified like proudly, like my whole, whatever phase, I would definitely go around saying I'm very sexual, but it's like, ugh. Now I go, okay, that might have been a cope. Like, it's so easy to like for me, I know I was making up for a huge lack of emotional need and like spiritual and feeling connected with a partner, and I was just focusing on like all physical, and it can become like a drug, and it's ultimately not satisfying because the physical feelings are so fleeting and ultimately meaningless.
So it's like, why did they want it for other people then? It just seems like a crab bucket thing.
Yeah. A crab bucket.
Yeah, like the crab's always pulling the other crab back down into the bucket so no crabs can escape.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, Jordan Peterson's brought it up a bunch of times too, I'm pretty
I
sure.
thought he said lobsters.
Oh, is it lobster?
Do lobsters do that to each other? I thought lobsters mate for life and they're like the most based crustaceans.
Yeah, they call it a crab bucket. It means like you don't let people get like ahead of you because you want them to be on your level.
Oh. Interesting. It's crabs. The audience says the chat thinks it's crabs. The audience says crabs. All right, cool. Well, it's crabs and lobsters. Viking. Didn't Kumia say he lost his virginity at like 14 to a girl who was way older and his dad set it up? Yeah, that does sound about right. That's too young, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a good
be having
feeling.
sex.
It's not a good feeling. Like I remember that those first few experiences like very vividly, and it's just like none of it is positive. It's like pressure. It's nerve-wracking. It's like you're intimidated. You're a little bit scared. You're like, you're like, I definitely need this guy to drive me back to my house, so you can't really piss him off. It's not great.
Yeah, I like actually think about it. What good comes out of children having sex? So anyone 18 under, what good comes out of having sex? What long-term good of it? It pretty much never ends well, right? So
yeah,
it shouldn't be something that's like, oh yeah, just let the kids do it.
It's not possible that, let's say who knows? I'm sure it's possible that like you're younger, but you also have a girlfriend or boyfriend that age. You love and trust each other. Whatever happens. That's different than like an adult. Like even thinking about it for a kid, I think that's really icky and twisted.
Yeah, because pregnancy is always a risk, right? So like imagine even being put in that position, like you're 13 or 14, and you have to actually decide like, do I terminate the pregnancy or do I have the child and then like totally have a different kind of life because of that stress and responsibility?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you even want to be in that position? But I also am like you in this situation, by the way, like, and like Anna too, like where I did things earlier than I think I should have, like, not that early. I did a normal age, but like if somebody told me
fun, no, for me, I remember it just felt like a lot of hard labor for me. I'm like, I feel like I'm just learning a lot of skills earlier than I'd like, but I felt like being in a sweatshop, like those first few years. I'm like, okay, it's like hand job boot camp. I'm like, well, I guess I'm doing this.
I think I would definitely tell my kids to wait as long as they can.
I would at least tell my kids. I wish someone had told me like it is truly okay to say no. That like my parents gave me
because there's like that pressure.
Yeah,
it's like, I have to do that.
Yeah, if you don't feel right, if it feels like intimidating, you don't know what to do. You feel like you have to. You want this person to like you, or they're like an older teenager and you want them to think you're cool. Like I acknowledge all those feelings, but that doesn't mean you have to like go against your gut and do something you're not ready to do. I wish I had even a little bit of that conversation. Like that fucking sucks that like neither one of my parents could have. I mean, it probably should have come from my mom. Like zero type of anything.
Yeah, I was in the same position too. I was dating someone a lot older than me and similar age gap, and like I didn't have guidance in that way. And it felt like, well, we've been dating for 6 months now, and like, what am I supposed to do? Do I have to do this? Like, or are they gonna like leave if I don't do X, Y, and Z? If I don't like kiss them more, if I don't do the next step? And it's like, there's not a lot of things, at least when I was growing up, there wasn't a lot of things saying like, hey, it's okay. Hey, it's actually good to wait because of this, and that to do X, Y, and Z thing.
And it's okay if like, because I remember I had boyfriends, like I remember the fucking Tom Tracy. He took me to the junior prom. I really liked him. He was like my first crush. Like I definitely was like, I really liked him. I was like, cool. Finger me in the basement all day long. this is fun, but I wish I could, like, there is a difference between like that and liking somebody and like, oh, you don't like the person, but you feel like you have to do it anyway because that's expected of you. And I wish I had that conversation. Like, you don't have to be down for all of it to be cool.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. I think you're right. If you feel like weird about it, it's probably a sign that you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, it's like, it's okay. So I wish somebody said it was like, hey, Chrissy, it's okay. Just because you got pizza and a ride doesn't mean you have to blow this person. It's all right. Pizza and a ride. Bruce Maximus, this is why my parents raised me with the old stories. Oh, feels amazing, does it? What's the catch here? Grimm makes one appropriately sus of everything. Oh, Grimm's Tales? Is that like an, oh yeah, that's like a, is that like an R.L. Stein series? Tom Tracy. Shout out to Tom Tracy. He went to Chaminade. See, I can't even think of fake names at this point. I'm just like, I would be amazed at it. If anybody like from my life even watched this show, I'd be so amazed. I'd be like, yep, shout out. Want to go for a ride for pizza? Yeah, this guy was a lifeguard. This guy was a lifeguard. I thought he was 17. I think he told me that he was 17. He's like, I really like your dives. I was just practicing my dives. I was just drilling some back dives. I was just minding my own business, getting in some practice. And
honestly, Chrissy, like some guys don't even offer that nowadays. Of like you hear these horror stories on TikTok about like the girl will pay to like Uber and like they don't pay. It's beyond 50-50. Like the girl is paying to do these things.
That was literally my 20s. Yeah. Like it's lot insane. Of going out of my way for mediocre D. It takes I don't know, for me it took years to build up my like self-worth.
You know what they call them on TikTok?
What?
Medium ugly.
Oh no. I guess that's me.
No, not you. Like the guys. Like they say like I'm tired of dating like medium ugly guys and getting nothing out of it.
Yeah. It's just like, it's good to know that you can say no. It's like, and it sucks because it really takes away from when you do meet a guy that you really like, that you do want to do things with. It's like,
yeah, it's supposed to be something special.
I got a lot of great jokes out of it. K-Max, is it obvious you need thicker skin to be a content creator? I figure Alex maybe just dislikes criticism and thinks it means you're personally attacking him. That is what I was getting off of him. It felt like he was reacting like Brittany was attacked. And like Brittany is very persistent. Like if you're not getting the answer you want, you'll keep at it, where I think other people would sense where he was at emotionally and drop it, but you like that doesn't have the effect on you, so you'll just,
maybe it's autism, I don't know.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Really. Because like I wasn't, Chrissy, also I wasn't really like if you play it back, I wasn't really looking at the screen much because I was like busy eating my food, because I get shaky when I don't eat food.
Blame
and I didn't eat all day. No, I really wasn't looking. So like maybe I didn't catch like the visual cue of it. I would expect if somebody's not comfortable, they just like, okay, like that's it with this. Like here's the short answer, but yeah.
Yeah. I think yeah, I mean, you can't tell someone to control their emotions. Like you're triggered by what you're triggered by until you work on that. Like I have to really hold myself back too. Like I have to, like every day I almost have to, I almost go off on someone every day on Twitter, and then I go click 10 followers and I go, what am I doing? Like what?
Well, yeah, there is a difference between someone, and it sucks to say in a way where it's like, oh, big number equal more value as a person. But the thing is, like, if somebody has no, but if somebody has no following and you're responding to them, it's because like the reason there's a difference is they don't have anything to lose, right? So what they're saying in a way is less credible because it's like, oh, it's a random person versus like an actual content creator, someone making videos consistently.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, yeah, if someone does bother you, it is better to be like more cool about it than to get fired up, unless you're like at your wit's end.
Honestly speaking, I didn't think he was that emotional of a person. I thought it was trolling when he was like emotional in general.
You just thought he was at like regular Alex levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's hard to tell. Bruce Maximus. This is why my parents raised me with the old. Oh, I already did that. K-Max. I already did that too. Thank you, K-Max. Yeah, who knows? Maybe he's not even bothered by it, but he's just doing his Alex thing. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out when I go to Dallas in a couple weeks. Half trolling, half serious. Okay. What did he get mad about? Anna, you're late. Shoot. How do
You're
I
in
sum
for
this
surprise.
up? I guess Brittany asked Alex why he canceled on a podcast, and then he's like, "Oh, well, these podcast people troll me and make a ton of content about me and are like obsessed," and then he got like upset talking about it. Right? I don't know.
Oh, well, basically, he went to go on. So I talked to this person yesterday on a different podcast. So then I went to hear Alex's side of it because I didn't want to be like unfair. So then I asked about it because Chrissy had brought up the like when you cancel 5 minutes before thing. And then Alex thought I was attacking him because I guess he took like a criticism of one thing he did as like, oh, it's an attack, but it wasn't. And I just wanted to like see if it could be mediated because they weren't actually like enemies when he had invited Alex on the podcast. He had been on his before too, and then he just canceled 5 minutes before and said, oh, like I don't want you to troll me. That's what he told me. So I was curious to like hear his side of it if he wanted to talk about it, but I didn't know it was like that grave of a sin to do that. And also it was like multitasking and eating, so I guess I missed some social cues.
I think he felt like you were more on their side than on his side, which is why he started to say, oh, I thought we were friends.
If anything, it was the other way around because like I have more like interactions with Alex than I did this person. This person just is also like friends with my friends. So like I said, you guys can go watch the podcast episode yesterday, or I don't know if James may have removed it, but he'll repost it, I'm sure. And I defended him. But
Brittany now has to challenge Alex to a boxing match in Dallas. Uh-oh.
A boxing match? Well, if he identifies as a woman, right? I guess that is allowed now.
You should have to just both do it in bathing suits and you could have a wrestle off.
I hope he doesn't actually wear bathing suits around kids again. I thought he would be like, oh yeah, I could see that. Maybe don't do that again. I didn't expect him to go like, I'm going to keep wearing a swimsuit around children.
I'm sure he feels bad about it deep down, but he's still going to keep being him. Like, it sucks that happened. That was not his intention. But I'm sure he doesn't like that happened. I wouldn't like that. I'd be like, fuck, I was trying to be funny and shit. Like, I didn't mean for you to see this. Anyway, this was a good stream. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what other adult film stars call out Asa. I wonder what other YouTubers will talk about it. Do people care? Maybe people don't. Maybe people are just going to give her a pass because she's hot and people want to bang her. Brittany's cat should fight Alex's cat. Alex's best cat. Losing cat gets eaten by Asa Akira, or I was going to say by Lila. Oh, wow. Pika Leaf. Thanks for the super chat. There was no way to know Alex would go off like that unless you assumed he was a man baby from the jump. His behavior was counterproductive to his goal to not give them content. He basically pulled an Eliza Blue.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for him, like, because now he's gonna like get more trolls, and that was not the intention of that.
Or was it? Dun, dun, dun. Who knows?
Like I said, I'm sure James will put up the podcast back up. I think he took it down because there was like a couple of like F words that were dropped, but when he puts it back up, I'm sure like you could see that chronologically what I'm saying is true.
Yeah.
Like, it's like with Eliza Crabcrawler. Like, I literally DM'd him, like, I don't want to step on toes before I had asked Eliza about it. So,
wow.
I think.
Oh, I was talking to, who was I talking to? Somebody. Who was I talking to? Was it Kelly? Who did oh God, I can't remember who I've talked to this week. It might have been, God, it might have been Freely Ashley. Or I was talking to somebody about the Eliza Blue thing. Yeah, it might have been her. And she was like, I've genuinely seen her engagement plummet. she's like, I genuinely think she's like crawled back into a hole. So I was like, all right. Like that doesn't help you necessarily or anybody who wants to see like solid accountability, but
yeah, it also sucks that like essentially nothing good came from it. Like, sure, I guess Eliza can no longer grift and lie and, you know, off of the backs of victims, but like the Twitter policy didn't change. Anna just got locked out for basically the same thing. Even worse, she just retweeted something, and like children weren't helped as a result. So it's like they were helped in the sense that they're not going to be taken advantage of as stolen valor, but it kind of sucks that Twitter policy didn't change. She didn't really own up to anything. She just kind of burnt herself down. And then I had to deal with being locked. And so did many other people too. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's effed up. We can make it so that, what did you say, Sean? Something about Eliza scrolled away. Most Melendez. Venti is Venti as Asa in a corn hub with Alex playing the 13-year-old. Oh no.
Touch grass.
We can still make it so Eliza is never taken seriously. True that. I'm surprised, Brittany, that did you hear from the Minds people at all? I'm surprised they didn't get you on that event.
The last thing I heard was that they like basically like the communication just ended, because I honestly don't know. Like I would have gone, but it
would have been great. People would have loved to hear from you. Saint Green Pact, Brittany, Eliza Blue Venti, Gargura owns you.
Yeah, someone who retweets Lolicon. Yeah, dang, owned. Like that's like, oh, a pet. It's like, oh, someone who posts content and material that pedophiles would like. Oh wow, like they sure got you. It's like, okay.
Wow. I wonder what's gonna happen. Yeah, she's pretty freaking famous. Oh, and I was gonna bring up too, because someone mentioned, because it's interesting to talk about like where is the line, what is okay, what is not okay, and then you go, all right, well, I had this kind of experience when I was this age. Does that make it okay? I had this clip about, I think it was with Riley Reid, and she was recounting an experience like where she took a guy's virginity. Let's see. Here it is. Okay. For the doubters saying that Riley Reid might have been joking about raping a guy. No, we have her on video twice and multiple tweets and her blog telling this is an amusing anecdote about how she lost her virginity. She just doesn't care.
We go to movie theaters to like hook up and play or whatever, and I was like giving him a blowjob and like hand job, and I wanted to have sex. I was like fucking horny. I wanted it or whatever, and he was like, "No, I don't want to lose our virginity here at the movie theaters," because he was also a virgin. And I was like, "I don't care. Like, I really want to do it. Let's just do it." He's like, "No, I don't want to do it." I was like, "Come on, let's do it." And he's like, "No." He already had a boner, so I just took my pants off and I got on. So I stole his virginity, basically, to say it in light terms. But yeah, he didn't say no after that.
I mean, it sounds like they were dating.
Yeah, so that was my virginity story.
And you should never pressure anyone to do something that they don't want to do. That goes with saying, when I lost my virginity, a guy said no 3 times and I still hopped on it. So you're asking the wrong person.
I think that's I mean, it sounds like they were around the same age and they were dating.
I think I guess they were dating, but even so, I think that's wrong that she did that, because it's his virginity. You can't get
but
that
also
back.
He didn't push men. It's like he could have pushed her off of him if he really didn't want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, but Chrissy, think of it in the lens of like, you really like someone, right? And you tell them no, and you don't. So yeah, that still doesn't change the fact that she's forcing it on him, because he likes her. He doesn't want her to hate him. So it's not really a yes. It's like a
true. And a lot of people say, "Oh, it's cute when a girl does it," but if a guy does it,
yeah. And if it were the reverse, yeah, it would still be great. So, like Sean said, and you said,
Yeah, and there's a lot of guys in the chat. They're like, it's so hot. I want
But they're projecting. Like they're not everyone.
Yeah. Because again, they're like with their grown man brain are looking at her and be like, I want to get with her. I will pretend that is me. When in doubt, imagine if she were a guy and not a hot girl.
Oh yeah, that's like a great metric to go by, especially like, for example, on TikTok, if you're scrolling and girls will be doing these things where they're like eye fucking the camera, like doing all these dumb poses. You're like, imagine if that person did that.
It's called smizing.
No, not just smizing like that. It's like they will like do like a whole thing, and it's like, okay, but imagine if a fat ugly person did this. This would be very cringe. Everyone would be cringing.
True. But I think that's different. I don't know. That's not ideal, but that's not as bad as what Asa is talking about. Like that's a blatant, like you're not like, oh, my boyfriend at the time. It's like instead of Asa's being like, I would bang that kid. Not good.
At least with the first one, she could be like, oh, I was young and like I regret this and stuff. Like, no, she was confident about the whole kid thing. It was lacking remorse.
No boy.
She didn't even really think about it. It was just like, yeah, duh, of course.
Yeah. Oh well. Interesting. Well, I don't have kids yet. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This world is crazy.
I think you'd be a good mom.
Oh, I could do a French braid. That's about it. Venti, what's coming up for you the rest of the week? Any more cooking streams?
Today's Thursday. I think the only thing I have coming up really is probably coming back on Simcast, and I'm working on a video currently. So yeah.
Oh, Simcast this Sunday. Kelly Cadigan. I think you guys know her. Haley Kennington and Freely Ashley, who I had on a couple days ago. And Freely Ashley was she was big on the Eliza Bluegate stuff. So we have that in common. And Kelly Cadigan is super based trans girl who just today announced that she is going to stop going by pronouns at all, which I think is pretty cool. Because she's like, yeah, I'm basically like, I crossed the finish line. I pass as female.
So wait, that means she's just like, she doesn't care if they say he or she.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Oh,
She has
okay.
said multiple times she doesn't care how people gender her. Like she looks very female, but she's like, yeah, I feel good about how I look in my transition. Like I don't really care if people call me a dude. Because she's like, my transition is about me. It's not about like forcing it onto everyone else. I was like, cool, that's a good point. And she's somebody who transitioned at 15, but is actually like not a proponent of kids transitioning. Thinks everyone should wait till they're 18. And if she had the opposite point of view, she'd probably be like Dylan levels of famous right now because that's what they want.
That's true. That'd be more beneficial.
Yeah. It's great. All right, y'all. What else is going on? Who else am I interviewing this week? Tomorrow's Friday. Friday Night Tights. Getting my hair dyed finally. And then it's Earth Day on Saturday. And then Simcast. And then Wet Spot on Monday. And then I'm flying to Vegas. Whoa. Cool. Thank you. This was a fun stream.
At least you can't say it was boring.
It was eventful. It was very eventful. Wow, Uncle Bones, what a blast from the past. Where have you been all my life? At the end of the day, I am thinking of you, Chrissy and Brittany. Oh, thanks, Bones. This was fun, guys. All right, I'm going to go check on Alex. I hope he's okay. Thank you, guys. And we'll see.